Once your product is made, you'll have to ship your inventory from the supplier's warehouse all the way to Amazon's fulfillment centers. There are two main ways that you can do this. For our products, we always go with sea shipping just because it's so much cheaper. For example, under normal conditions, an 85 kilo shipment might cost $400 by sea and over $600 by air. However, with air shipping, your goods are going to arrive much faster, potentially within a few weeks rather than a few months. So if you're in a rush to get your products into Amazon, then this might be a good option. Now let's talk freight forwarders. Even if you're an experienced seller, I strongly recommend hiring one because they're going to help you arrange your entire shipment. They'll handle all your customs, packaging, labeling, and so on. Think of them as a trusted partner for your business. Without them, this process would be almost impossible for the average person with a day job. So how do you go about finding a freight forwarder? Well, there are a number of places that you can look, but the two sources that we've used are Freightos.com and Amazon Global Logistics. Let's start with Freightos. Here, it's just like Alibaba, except instead of looking at suppliers, you can collect quotes and compare rates from multiple freight forwarders. How this works is you select your origin here, which in this case will either be the factory or warehouse of your supplier, then choose the country that your supplier is located in, and then enter their address. The next step is to select your destination, which if you're using Amazon FBA, you'll choose the fulfillment center option. Again, enter the country and then the address of a fulfillment center. Now, a quick note here, technically you don't yet know the address of the fulfillment center that you're gonna be sending your products to, so I recommend just choosing one in your country to help you get past this step. Then, once you choose a freight forwarder to work with, before paying them, make sure to let them know that you'll be updating the final destination address once you have it, which I'll be showing you how to get in just a moment. So for now, just pick one that's in your country. Now the third step here is to enter your load or what you're shipping. Here you have a couple of options regarding the shipping container that you'll be using. And don't worry if you don't know this, simply just ask your supplier and they'll let you know which one. So if you have enough goods to fill the entire container, you'll ship a full container load, also known as FCL. But if you don't have enough goods to fill an entire container, you'll ship loose cargo. And this is often referred to as less than container load, or LCL. In this case, your goods will be shipped in with other people's goods in the container as well. Next, you want to fill out the rest of this information, such as package type, pallet type, and dimensions, which again, can all be provided by asking your supplier. The last step is to enter the value of your goods and when your shipment will be ready. On the next screen here, take a look at your options and select who's going to be responsible for palletizing your shipment. It automatically defaults to the freight forwarder here. However, most suppliers do this anyway. So just make sure that your supplier does so that you can save some money. Now you want to leave the rest of these checked because it's good to have insurance and you'll need to pay for customs, brokerage, and bond anyways. After that, you'll now be able to look and sort through all the listed freight forwarders. You can sort by best value, speed, lowest price, and eco-friendly. When selecting a freight forwarder, keep these 4 things in mind: the price, how well they communicate, whether or not they've worked with small sellers like you before, and most importantly, make sure they're knowledgeable on all of Amazon's requirements. Speaking of, the second way to find a freight forwarder is actually going directly through Amazon themselves. This is a relatively new service called AGL, or Amazon Global Logistics. It lets you import directly from your supplier to different Amazon marketplaces without having to work with an actual freight forwarder. Essentially, Amazon is your freight forwarder. And this is great because by working directly with Amazon, you can easily track your shipments from departure through customs and to the arrival at the fulfillment center. So here's how it works. Just like a freight forwarder, Amazon will take over and coordinate all the inspections, loading, and transferring of your inventory from your supplier's warehouse all the way to their fulfillment centers. They'll even guide you through the customs process, making it much easier for new sellers. Now, I really love this program because for starters, it's offered by Amazon. So if you're sending inventory into FBA warehouses, the process is much more streamlined. You book all your shipments through the exact same workflow that I'm about to show you in just a second. The second benefit is that the price is very competitive. In fact, we've been testing it out over the past few months, and so far it's pretty comparable to what other freight forwarders have charged us in the past. Lastly, because there are fewer touch points, your shipments are gonna actually be cleared into stock much quicker than with a third-party provider, and this is huge. So these are just some of the main reasons why I'd strongly recommend checking this program out. However, what I'd also recommend is to get quotes from both AGL and a few freight forwarders. That way you can compare them to make sure that you're getting the best deal. Now, once you've settled on a freight forwarder, here's how to ship your goods into Amazon. For this, let me walk you through setting up a shipping plan inside of Seller Central. Now, this is a step that you have to do on your own, even if you've hired a freight forwarder. Also, this is where you'll find the address of the exact FBA warehouse that you'll be sending your products to. So first, inside of your account, go to Inventory and then select Manage FBA Shipments. Up at the top, click Send to Amazon. You'll start by entering your ship from address, and typically this is going to be the address of your freight forwarder. Next, select your marketplace destination from the drop-down menu here. If you're only selling in the United States, then you just have this one option here. Otherwise, if you're selling outside of the United States, make sure to select the country that you want to send your products to. Next, this is where you choose the product that you're going to send into Amazon. First, find your product, then click the Packaging Details drop-down menu. Now decide whether you're sending individual or case pack products. Individual means that you have different SKUs or products inside of one box, whereas case packed means you only have one product inside the box. You could have multiple units though. If you select case packed, you'll go ahead and enter a template name, the number of units per box, and the box dimensions and weight. But don't worry, all this information can, you guessed it, be provided by asking your supplier. Lastly, click this drop-down menu to see if your type of product has any specific prep requirements. Make sure you carefully look through this list, and if your product falls under any of these categories, you'll then select who is doing the prep for your shipment. All Amazon cares about is essentially whether it's Amazon or someone else. We recommend having your supplier or freight forwarder do the prep rather than Amazon, as they will end up charging you more. If you choose Amazon to do the prep, you'll notice that they'll also be responsible for labeling your units for an additional price. But if there's no prep needed, then you can simply select if it will be you or Amazon that labels your units. Hey, real quick, if you've been getting any value from this video, then I'd really appreciate you like this video down below so that it can spread to more people here on YouTube. Thanks in advance. All right, coming back, if you selected individual units, you'll need to click the pencil icon here to edit the details. Again, this is where you select if your product needs any specific prep and who is going to label the units. From here, click Save. Next, if you selected individual units, you'll need to tell Amazon how many units you're sending in. Enter your quantity and then click Ready to Pack. However, if you selected case packed, you'll need to tell Amazon how many boxes you're sending in. Enter your quantity and then click Ready to Send. Next, whether you selected individual or case packed units, you'll need to scroll down to the bottom and click Print All SKU Labels. This will open up a box that allows you to download a PDF file of your labels so that you can print them out. If you choose to do the prep yourself, like I'd recommend, you'll send this PDF file to your supplier and ask them to attach the labels to your product's packaging. Now, one note regarding this next step. If you selected case packed units, you'll simply click Confirm and Continue. This will skip you past an additional step needed for individual units. So we'll come right back to this section in just a moment. Now, if you selected individual units, you'll see the option to click Pack Individual Units. From here, you need to tell Amazon how many boxes you're sending in. If everything fits into one box, select the first option. Click Confirm, then type in the dimensions and weight of your box, which you can get by asking your supplier. Then click Confirm Packaging Information, followed by Confirm and Continue. But if your shipment requires multiple boxes, you're gonna wanna select the second option. Click Confirm, then type in the number of boxes that you'll be sending in. The default method is to enter this information through a web form. And if you're sending in less than 10 boxes, this is the easiest way to complete this step. However, for more than 10 boxes, you can do this through an Excel file, or you can even have Amazon manually process your boxes, which they can do, but for an additional 15 cents per unit. So I'm gonna show you how to do this in the web form, which is the exact same way that you do this in an Excel file. All you have to do is enter the amount of boxes that you'll be sending and then click Open Web Form. Select how many units will be inside each box, and again, your supplier will be able to provide all this information for you. The last step is to enter the weight and dimensions of each box. Once done, click Confirm Packaging Information. On to step number 2. Now, like I mentioned in the previous step, if you selected case packed units, this will actually be the same workflow that you'll see regardless of if you're doing individual or case packed units. To start, select your ship date, which is the date that you expect your supplier to hand your inventory to the carrier. But don't worry too much about getting this exactly right. This date just helps Amazon prepare to receive your inventory. Next, decide if you're shipping SPD or LTL. SPD means small parcel delivery. Essentially, SPD consists of units packed into individual boxes, and each box is individually labeled for delivery. Normally, these are smaller shipments that are sent via DHL, UPS, FedEx, or other local postal services. On the other hand, LTL deliveries consist of multiple shipping boxes transported together onto pallets. Typically, shipments that weigh less than 150 pounds are cheaper sent by SPD, and anything heavier than that, it's usually best to use LTL. Next, Amazon will now tell you what fulfillment centers you'll be sending your products to. Below, you'll see a shipping price for selecting Amazon's partnered carrier, which in this case is UPS. We recommend choosing this option as Amazon offers discounted shipping rates, but if you wish, you can also select a non-Amazon partnered carrier from this drop-down menu here. Just be aware if you do choose another carrier, you will have to arrange and pay for the shipping yourself. After making your selection, go ahead and click Accept Charges and Confirm Shipping. The last step here is to print the FBA box labels. Simply click Print, which will open up a PDF file. You want to save this file and send it to whoever is prepping your boxes. Ask them to correctly attach these labels to your boxes before shipping them into Amazon. Then once your supplier or freight forwarder has attached your labels, you'll come back to this page and click Mark All as Shipped. And that's it. Once you've completed this final step, you can go to the Shipping View tab to track the status of your shipment. At this point, your inventory is set to ship, so you have a little bit of time before it arrives. I'd recommend using this time wisely to set up your Amazon listing and make sure it's fully optimized. This is how customers are gonna find your product, so it's really important to do it right. We'll show you exactly how to create an optimized listing in this next video, as well as how to avoid the common mistakes that most beginners make. So make sure to watch this next video to learn how to create your first listing. Here you have a couple of options regarding the shipping container that you're gonna be just so make sure your supplier, I think there's something not right with this slide. So just make sure your supplier does so that you can save some money. Oh, I see, okay, I get it.